All right, welcome to the Bulls REKAP Podcast. I'm Joe Cowley of the Chicago Sun-Times. We're kind of calling this an emergency podcast, although when you're picking 12, is it really an emergency at this point? This is podcast episode number 25, and let's grab my partner in crime, the crime dog himself. Ryan, what's up, buddy? I don't know, man. Is this an emergency podcast or is this just a heartache podcast? What do we call this?
This is an emergency laugher. I don't know, man. Like, I was hoping, honestly, I was like, man, just for our sake, get us the fourth pick. But the whole coin flip situation, I'll let you explain that. But
for those that were sleeping or so, or watching their kids' sports or doing what probably is more important than what we were doing, the NBA draft lottery was tonight, and just when you don't think the Bulls could figure out ways to just receive gut punches and kidney shots, another one was delivered tonight. So the Bulls were slotted. The highest percentage for them was like 85%. They stayed number 12. They were number 12 because they lost a coin toss a couple weeks ago with Dallas, who finished with the same record as them. They lost the coin toss. And trust me, the Bulls have won a series of coin toss in the past when it's come to this. They didn't win this one. So they go to 12. Dallas goes to 11. Draft lottery comes. First, let's address what happens in Dallas. They go from number 11. That's the one that hits number 1 with a 1.8% chance. The Bulls, 1.7% chance. The Bulls had the Bulls were 1.7%. Dallas was 1.8%. Yep. That's what hits number 1. So they get Cooper flagged. The same team that was chastised and ridiculed for giving up on Luka Doncic and making that trade, thinking that the future was now. And then obviously Kyrie gets hurt. AD goes through some injuries. They fall out of playoff possibility. This is the reward. But that's not the whole story. My complaint all year, after I had no problem with them playing pedal down until February trade deadline. I knew they weren't bad enough to be in that bottom 3 and get the 14% chance with Charlotte, Utah, Washington. They just weren't. But the territory they were in was that 6 to 8, San Antonio, Philadelphia, teams that had some injuries but also shut some guys down. So in February, obviously the Wemby injury is a freak thing with the blood cloth, and you hope he recovers. Embiid, probably could have played. They did an MRI on the knee. I think if they were in playoff contention, he may have gutted it through. But they decided to shut him down, shut Maxey down. McCain, the rookie, obviously he got injured with the ACL. But anyway, what happens? San Antonio finishes number 2, Dylan Harper territory. And Philadelphia finishes number 3, probably Ace Bailey. Maybe it's Trey from Texas. Maybe it's VJ Edgecombe, who I really like. But they have the choices. But probably, when you look at their roster, Ace Bailey. So the Bulls, obviously, there's the gut punch with the coin toss. They don't get number 1. But what they could have gotten, if they just said after they traded Zach, and it wasn't even shutting guys down. It's just simply letting Billy know, hey, fourth quarter games, we don't need everybody out there. We want Modest out there. If Modest is going to win us games and it's going to be on his shoulders, we'll take that. We'll take that development. But that's kind of who we want out there. We don't need Josh Giddey throwing half-court shots in against the Lakers and all that stuff. But whatever. I'm a dummy. I don't understand the history of the league and how to build dynasties because it's opposite of what the Bulls are doing, but I'm stupid. And so here we are now at number 12, and the area they could have been in, they got 2 and 3. Can't make it up. Can't make it up.
This Andy man's got it dead on, man. They've been living in purgatory. They're the longest living organization in purgatory of all time.
And here's the thing, too, and we've talked about this. The plan, say that the plan is, okay, we're going 1 through 10. We're building depth. Okay, it's completely flawed, but let's pretend it's not. Let's all go to unicorn land and pretend it's not. It's a great plan, AK. Stellar. So many teams are doing that right now. Well, then you're flipping it and saying, okay, and we're also changing our shot profile. Love that, shooting more threes. No argument there. They needed to do that. But we're also playing with high pace. Okay, now I'm watching these playoffs. The threes are still going up. The high pace, I mean, obviously the Pacers are still running and trying to run you out of the gym, but they're also hitting a lot of threes at a high rate.
Yeah, but look at these scores.
Yeah.
This is like the 90s, man. I love it, by the way.
The 80s and 90s basketball. And it's been great. And the ratings have been through the roof.
I mean, you got 92-87 last night. You have 102-97. You go back a week or 91-90. I mean, 103-89 even. Like, you got multiple games here of both teams struggling to score 90, and that's fantastic.
And physical games. The Bulls are not physical. No. Teams executing, if they're executing baskets, it's coming in the half court set. The Bulls aren't very good at that. So they're not only are they not understanding how to build this team from a roster standpoint and adding talent, but the philosophy of what they're going to do. And the problem is it might win them 40, 42 games next year, maybe. Best case scenario, 40, 42 games.
Okay.
Well, what is that? Where are you going? And guess what? Everybody's getting extensions next year, too. Just telling you. I'm just putting that out there now. There'll be secret extensions handed out to everybody if they haven't been already. I'm just telling you that's coming.
Well, you've been dead on. You've been dead on about all this stuff. I mean, look at Kyle here. Kyle fell for the bait. Fooled again. Can't believe I fell for it. Dallas wins with 1.8. Absolutely ridiculous. If it wasn't for bad luck, Chicago would have no luck. And I like Eli's comment here. I'm now not watching this team next year. Instead of cord cutting, he's bull cutting. I like that.
I'll believe it when I see it. When I look around the stands and I see that those stands are empty. It's not even just the stands. When you look and you see the suites are empty.
Hang on. Let me ask you a question about that, because I know you've said this, but do you honestly believe, like, let's say game 20, you start looking around going, this looks different. It feels different. You get to the halfway mark, all-star break. Legit, you're getting 10, 12,000. Do you really think it matters?
No, because I don't think they'll ever dip to that number. But say they do.
But let's play the hypothetical game.
Yeah, okay. But say they do. You remember, everyone thinks that the last year of the Gar Pax thing, we were seeing, I mean, tickets were sold, but we were seeing people not even using those tickets. And we were seeing empty suites. But the bottom line was, if John wouldn't have gone to ownership and said, I've had enough, he still might be there. I mean, this was his call. People forget that. They think, oh, the Gar Pax thing and their little bulletin board, fire Gar Pax, had some kind of – that did nothing. Jerry Reinsdorf thumbs his nose and his middle finger at that kind of reaction. Media reaction and fan reaction means nothing to Jerry Reinsdorf. Trust me.
Look at the other team. It happened all last year. It didn't matter. I mean, the basketball – I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if I'm buying this today. I actually don't think the basketball gods shit on the Bulls today. I think the basketball gods told you who they are. I really believe that. Like, this is not
that's a good point.
The fact that we're sitting like we're putting it in, like, here's Big Earn, all because of the prayer circle. The fact that we're even talking prayer circles and hope, the hope and faith argument, Joe, Chicago sports, we just sell that hope to fans, and the fans just sit here. You know, we got Ben Johnson now. We're winning a Super Bowl, right? Like, that's all we've had to buy. Hope and faith.
And I think more and more, my analogy of the United Center becoming Wrigley Field winter is becoming reality. It's becoming very touristy. It's becoming I mean, you always saw people in the atrium where the Jordan statue is, or when it was outside before they moved into the atrium when it was in the front. Any time of the year you went there were people, especially during the day, if we had to go to morning shoot-arounds, people all around taking pictures of that statue. I mean, that thing it's a must-see tourist spot. And I'm starting to believe the United Center basically is Wrigley Field winter. You know, people are there just for the event and not for the blood, sweat, and tears it takes to build this thing into a championship and build a dynasty. I just don't think people in this city care that much, or the people that attend those games care that much.
Adrian nailed it then. To your point, the Bulls have had the biggest decline in viewership, and that's a lot because of CHSN not being available. How do you tackle reducing high attendance when the day-to-day attendance of the UC seems corporate? I mean, that corporate / touristy, they go hand in hand. When you're there because it's a post-work meeting, you can have a couple of pops, go sit in the FanDuel area and watch some other games, and then you're bailing in the third or fourth quarter. You're checking boxes for the Bulls.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know if I saw the vision that if today's lottery broke the way it broke, but the front office had a different vision, then I could just say it was just a bad day for this front office. My lead of my story, which is posted on the Sun-Times, is Arturas Karnisovas deserved what he got today. This is exactly what he deserves. And I don't think it has – you have to know as an executive when to dip your toe into tanking and understanding the magnitude of a draft lottery class and when not to. Last year, I would have said no. Try and win as many games as you can, because to me, that draft lottery was no different from number 1 pick to number 15 pick. And it played out that way. Modest, there were some projections early on that he was going number 1. He fell to number 11, and he was a top 5 rookie, if you ask me. I think the guys that were all on the rookie team deserved it, but Modest is right there, especially the way he finished the second half. But this draft class and next year's draft class, I mean, there are franchise changers in there, and teams understand that. And people are like, ha, 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 Washington, Charlotte, Utah, your little tanking thing didn't work. Guess what? Washington, Charlotte, Utah are going to be right back in tanking next year because they're going to understand what the 26 class. They're going to do exactly what Philly did to get Embiid. They're going to do exactly what Detroit did, mess around, fall out. Sometimes you don't get there. You hit 4 or 5. Eventually you hit number 1. You get a Cade Cunningham. Who would you rather beat tonight, Detroit or the Bulls? It's not even close.
It's literally not close. I mean, you guys are sitting here throwing out, sell the team. They should sell both. They're not. I mean,
no.
They're
especially not the Bulls. They're not.
Yeah, when you own the United Center,
right?
And the cash cow.
And we've talked about what the Celtics sold for $6 billion. If the Celtics are $6 billion, the Bulls are at least $5.5 billion right now.
Oh, at the minimum. I mean, Young says the Bulls should trade the pick for someone like Garland from the Cavs. Are the Cavs doing that?
I don't. Yeah, it's funny. You hear these. The Bulls should go after Giannis. I mean, this is all Twitter fodder.
Yeah.
Not that Houston or Oklahoma City can't put together way better packages for Giannis and keep Milwaukee very competitive in the meanwhile. But yeah, they're going to go ahead and take Vooch, Kobe, and a future draft pick, and then maybe Javon Carter's to make the money work. Come on, get out of here. Giannis is not coming to the Bulls. There's no help. There's no lifesaver. It is what it is.
And Giannis at this point, if he's leaving Milwaukee, he wants to do it for one reason. He's 30 years old. There's a lot to offer there, but he's going to win a championship. That's it. I like Kurt. Kurt's already moving on with why is Jerry oblivious to what's going on and why he doesn't care? And he follows it up with, when do the Cubs get a closer since talking to Bulls and they have no plan? I love Kurt's just he's he's just taking the first down marker and moving it.
I have no problem with that.
Is Eli right in your mind the worst GM in the history of Chicago? He's not the GM even. He's like the GM.
I will say this. Executive GM, it's all the same thing.
Yeah, it is.
Because he basically is a dictator.
Yeah.
I am shocked with how quickly he has fallen out of favor in a matter of 2 or 3 years by not only his press conferences. And look, his press conferences, he's not good at the communication game. So I give him the benefit of the doubt. Some guys just aren't good communicators. Sorry, but that's part of the job when you're getting an interview, that you have to be good at communicating. But let's just push that aside. He's not great at communicating his point. But from what I'm hearing now league-wide, when you talk to other executives and you talk to other coaches and people in other organizations, he's difficult to work with. He's difficult you talk to some agents. He's difficult to get answers from. His idea of this secrecy and this cone of silence that he wants to exist in and live in, it's weird. I mean, sometimes you got to put stuff out there and be more transparent. I love the fact, and not only because I covered him and like him and talked to him and consider him a good guy, Mike Dunleavy, I was so happy he got the GM job at Golden State. But it's funny, we were back early. We were on that West Coast trip earlier, way before they acquired Jimmy Butler and stuff like that. And Dunn was they were hurting. He was really trying to keep this thing afloat. And he grabbed a couple of us beat writers, and he's just like, shooting ideas around, just like, well, what do you guys think in this and this? And we brought up Jimmy, and we're talking about Jimmy because Jimmy was a rumor at Golden State. And Dunn just kind of gets it. I mean, he just kind of talks it through and listens to. Arturas gives you nothing like that. He'll ask you, what do you think? But he doesn't care.
How about a GM that's thinking collaboratively? We're like, hey, you guys have been around. Like, let's just talk big picture here. What are you thinking? Like, how about the idea of even floating an idea out there like that, where like, hey, I'll be the sponge. I'll give you 5 minutes. Go.
Yeah, and it's with people that covered him and he trusts and covered Jimmy. And obviously, I think Dunleavy knows I still talk to Jimmy and am close to Jimmy, and just had a text chat with him the other day. And so, it's good to see a guy who's not afraid to humble himself and say, well, this idea is bouncing out here. This idea is bouncing out here. What do you guys think? Instead of one who thinks he has all the answers, and he really has none.
T says, guys, give me something good to look forward to. And I'm going to follow that up with Kyle and Joe. You probably have a group here. We were talking off the air before we came on about, like, what does 12 even look like? And Kyle's asking who the best option is. Obviously, the pre-draft camps and everything.
You're right.
I'm guessing European options are going to be something we discuss. But, everyone wants good news. But I don't know. Tonight's just not a good news kind of night. The news, guys, was 82 games of seeing that the Bulls didn't care about what everyone else saw right in front of them, which was, hey, we're going to move pieces to get closer to getting as much balls in the air as we could. And they didn't do it. They didn't have as many balls in the hopper, and they lost the coin.
And we talked about it all year. We talked about it all season that this day was coming. So you want me to go through a little mock draft that I already posted?
Let's do it. All
right, let's do that. Number one,
I've never heard of it.
I'm so happy for the Mavericks. I know someone in the public relations department who used to work for the Bulls, Kristen. She's great, and I just know that PR staff has gone through hell.
What a reward!
And now,
by the way, did you see LeBron James's tweet?
Yeah.
The laughing emojis, like 100.
The laughing emoji, like yeah. So obviously Cooper Flag goes to Dallas. Great fit, instant impact. Can't wait to see what he becomes. Obviously they're not going to have Kyrie till maybe late next year, if that. And we'll see where he is. But just so many young pieces and just a perfect fit. And that'd be great. San Antonio, number 2, Dylan Harper. Wemby gets another. Now he can play kind of off guard. So with Castle and obviously, what they added with the Sacramento trade. So great place for him to land. They can kind of bring him along slowly, having great tutelage with Fox. That's going to be good. Philadelphia is going to be interesting. On paper, everyone's going to say Ace Bailey. VJ Edgecombe and Trey Johnson are both getting tons of buzz. Is VJ Edgecombe a redundant player with Maxey? I don't think so. I think Edgecombe does not have the outside shooting, is more explosive, and could be a defensive dog for them. Could be a two-way player. Trey Johnson might be the best shooter in the top 5. But let's just play it safe and go Ace Bailey, 6'10", unbelievable athlete. Needs to work on a lot of stuff. He's more raw than the other two, but unbelievable athlete. Which means Charlotte, everyone's laughing at Charlotte. Okay, if Charlotte ends up with VJ Edgecombe, I'm fine with that, especially if they keep LaMelo Ball, and LaMelo's got a running mate that can run the floor and actually give them some defense, which they need. Utah, again, people are ripping on Utah. You didn't get Cooper Flag. Okay, they take Trey Johnson. They add another key piece, not a difference maker, but a key piece, and then they go for it in 26. Washington, Con Knipple, they added some athletes. Now they add some outside shooting. And don't think that he's just a shooter. I've talked to some people, and they're like, this dude is an athlete, and this dude will play defense. So I think he's a great fit there. New Orleans, they obviously need guard help. Jeremiah Fears from Oklahoma, I think, is a solid fit there. Brooklyn, a guy I love. The way Malouche finished with Duke and the raw, everyone knows the size 7'2" and the wingspan and the rim protection he gives, which would be a perfect fit for the Bulls. But there's some untapped And it's not just the rim running. There's some untapped offense it's raw. It's going to need a lot of work. Number 9, another guy I would have loved to see in a Bulls uniform, Derek Queen from Maryland. Yeah. Big shot guy, and a unique kind of, he's probably a 5/4 in a positionless front court for the Bulls anyway. But good fit because he passes. He's kind of got a high IQ.
I feel like he was one of those guys that like jumped 4 or 5 slots because of, Big Ten, and certainly the moment in the NCAA. I just feel like, boom, he became nationally known in the NCAA tournament. If you didn't already know him, he's a great player. Right. And that's what happens. It's like, and then what's going to happen too, and I'm sorry I interrupted your mock draft.
No. Go ahead.
What's going to happen is the pre-draft camp's going to happen, and some kind of under the radar guy at 13, like that's hanging out around 11 or 11 to 14, is just going to screw the Bulls too. And they're just sitting in the middle. I'm venting the same frustration.
That's a great point, because they're sitting in that little area of 11 to 14 where you could hit on a guy, but you could also miss on a guy. And what's the chance that they miss? Now, look, Modest was really good, but to me, there's a drop off after 10. Did you watch a lot of Illinois basketball?
I watched. I know who you're going here for. I know where you're going. I know where you're I did, and I think it's a sexy name rather than a sexy pick. You know what I mean?
Okay,
because we're local.
Well, and here's why I liked him going to Houston. Fred VanVleet's there. Reed Shepherd's still there. To me, Reed Shepherd is great. They couldn't even find playing time for him. But I think they're going to move some pieces. So this is a kid who can go there, and he's not going to be forced into it. He can learn. But yes, I get your point. There's some people that really overrate him because he's an Illinois kid, but whatever. Right? Portland, number 11, Asa Newell, Georgia. Real raw, but his defense is nice. So Portland, again, they're in that 11 to 14 where you don't know what you're going to get, which brings us to the Bulls. As of right now, I got them going. Colin Murray Boyles, South Carolina. My write-up for him was obviously a Malusha or Queen would be the best fit, but Murray Boyles is the best defensive forward in the class, high effort in everything he does. In other words, he's the anti-Patrick Williams. I think they need to add a true defensive presence in the front court, a high-effort guy, and another guy that's going to either tell Patrick Williams, I'm here to humble you, or I'm here to light something underneath your ass. And so I think drafting that position, because Modest is locked into that front court. Drafting another front court guy, he's kind of a tweener with the size, but the effort, the high effort, his ability to go after rebounds, offensive and defensive rebounds, maybe Patrick could learn something from him.
I don't know if you are equipped to answer this question, but I'm going to throw it at you anyway. If you had to give me an NBA comp for Murray Boyles, maybe an comp, because he's young,
right?
He's enticing. There's no, he intrigues me. I'm not going to lie to you, but when you come to the Bulls, I lose my intrigue factor kind of quickly. But again, this is back to Billy. At least I feel good about the leadership there. So you're talking about like the anti-Patrick Williams. Do you have a comp? Could you come up with one on the spot?
I'm going to say, I'm trying to think of a high effort guy that actually the offense isn't that bad. Trying to think of a guy he reminds me of recently, because I don't love doing comparisons.
I know. Like Jimmy feels like when Jimmy was taking 30, he felt like scoring high effort, just kind of earned his own. But I hate that's unfair to Jimmy. Like it's unfair. It's also unfair. It's unfair to the player too. It's unfair to Murray Boyles.
Let me think. Let me keep thinking about it and get back to you. I mean, he has more. He's bigger and he has more offensive skill than a Josh Hart, but he's kind of relentless like that.
Kyle likes your pick, by the way. He's a fan. He watched a lot of them. He likes your mock draft pick.
Okay, well there we go. 13, Atlanta. Again, I think they got to go guard and say, are we ready to move on from this Trae Young era? And that's why I got Michigan State, Richardson. I think he could probably play either guard spot while they're deciding Trae Young's future. But I think Atlanta's kind of Trae Young'd out. And then 14, again, this because we're in this area, French kid, Noah Eskengu, can play along Wemby. Again, elite finisher, solid rim protector, really raw, needs a lot of work. But, I mean, Wemby would have a French guy with him on that roster, and God knows San Antonio likes their Euros. So that was the quick mock draft I
look
threw
at
together.
the preparation this guy puts in, folks. Come on.
All kind of
He has a mock ready to go.
So, obviously the combine will shed some light on some of these guys. I think 1 and 2 are locks. They aren't going to change. Number 3 is where it's going to get interesting.
It only get interesting, though, for a couple of picks. I mean,
yeah. And the other intrigue is, does Houston say we're not picking? This is someone else's pick because we're packaging something bigger and going for Giannis. I mean, the way they flamed out, to me, that's the logical spot. And perfect coach for Giannis. I mean, a guy who believes in toughness and believes in defense. I mean, look, it was this was just a rough one. It just really was, but comically rough. I mean, it's one of those things where you're like, it's rough, but this is what you kind of deserved.
Like you were so ready for like the worst case scenario is Bulls stay at 12, lose the coin flip. That team goes with the almost exact same percentage, wins it all. And you have other examples of the tank in season, which the Bulls could have adopted when they traded Zach. They could have adopted Zach. They could. That's where
I think they lost like 5 or 6 straight in that little area in that mix. And I thought, here we go. And it's fine. They wanted to develop the young guys. I had no problem.
15-5 though, Joe. Make the shirt 15-5.
15-5. And I've said it. I said it at least 3 times on this podcast. March basketball is the worst time to evaluate your team because teams have really chosen a path at that point. And the really good teams or the teams that are tight are going for positioning. Herb Jones, that's actually not an awful comp.
Our fans, they know basketball. The people who are here.
And I said the bad teams are really just going to be just kind of tanking and just really pulling the leash on this thing. The good teams, the really good teams, if they know their positioning or trying to maneuver the position, they may sit guys against you because there's a tougher team in their division or in their conference the next night. I mean, they may play that game. So March basketball / early April basketball, the worst time to evaluate your team. And sure enough, Arturas 15-5 beating his chest in that exit press conference. And then Miami went and just did a number on him in that play-in. So here we are, my guy.
Look at John. John still he's just all optimism, man. Happy to be here, but I'm more excited for Michael on NBC anyway.
Wait, you know what? By the way, do you think he's actually gonna? It's not gonna be like a Barkley where he's offering strong opinions because he hasn't done that.
So Cap and I have a bet. I have a bet here. Because I want to know what the price tag is for MJ to be a contributor. I don't know what that. It said he's going to be. He'll certainly be on the first. The introductory game, I guarantee. And he'll probably be on big games throughout the year, maybe a bigger stance in the playoffs. But that's not a cheap ask. He told me he would do it for $5 million a year. I told him he's out of his damn mind.
It's way more. It's got to be more than $5 million.
So I might be shooting for the stars here. I said he's getting more annually than Brady is.
I think so.
Brady's getting 37.5.
You think NBC went $40 million?
NBC paid $76 billion for those rights. If you're going to come out,
put Michael on there,
and let's call it a 1-year deal with Michael. 1 year, you just kind of throw it all out there, and we got Michael. Is that worth $40 million to you?
Can we side bet if Ahmad Rashad's going to make an appearance?
Oh,
because Michael's there.
This week on Inside Stuff. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They got to bring Inside Stuff back too.
Oh, that was a great show. Great show.
I mean, I love this too. Like we're getting ready to wrap things up here, but you guys are John with MJ in his 60s, got 0 shits to give. That's not true, my man. The money he's raking in every single day from Jordan Brand is insanity. It's ridiculous. I like this one because I was fully ready for all the Pope references when the Bulls won the lottery or finished in the top 4. So now we have another prayer request going into Pope Leo that maybe AK will. AK won't. No. We got the lottery was rigged. I love when you're not part of the rig, you just scream rig.
Because the NBA really wants a big powerhouse in San Antonio because it's just a mecca. It's just a huge market.
San Antonio, Dallas. They want their mecca.
Yeah, they want everything in Texas.
All Texas. Nothing's bigger than Texas.
Because everyone loves flying down to Dallas. It's so fun. Such a quick trip. So,
oh man.
All right, so we're going to do this again Wednesday.
Yeah, we're going to bring it back. But we knew we were talking last week about, are we doing live on the draft lottery? Well, hell yeah, because there'd be even Joe.
You know what? This morning, I honestly, I'm going to be honest. I woke up and I said, I have a feeling that these bastards are going to hit number 1, and Arturis is just going to go, F you. I was right. And as the day went on, as the day went on, I was like, I have a feeling something crazy is going to happen, and it might involve the Bulls. And I don't usually get nervous for draft lotteries, but I was nervous, but not for the reasons you think. I was nervous because an AK could be beating his chest and going, I know this. I know what I'm doing. And here, as soon as I saw Bulls at 12, I just went, ha!
Yeah, it was funny. I was at my daughter's softball game, and it was like 6-12. I was like, oh, shit. Because I had that same nervousness, like, well, I have a feeling like something weird's going to happen. It's going to involve I had the exact same feeling. I didn't have the number 1 feeling. I did say on the lunch show this afternoon that I was like, the Bulls are picking 12th. I'm going to say it. I'm putting the ether. I'm not going to do that. Yeah, they're going to top. No. But I still had that, like, right before kickoff butterfly feeling where I'm like, it'd be good for the channel. It'd be good for the podcast.
It'd be good for everybody.
It'd be great for everybody. No doubt about it.
It'd be great for everybody. I mean, look, I could even show you this. This happened. My son pulled one of those babies.
Look at that. I love it. We're ready to look at that. You were ready.
A gold
flag.
44 of 50 made.
I mean, I appreciate the commitment. I'm a card guy. We're already in the sleeve as we should be immediately.
Oh,
you were ready. You were so ready to unveil that right out of the gate if the Bulls picked.
I was going to hold it up and say this is just in the last couple of weeks the signs of Cooper Flag coming to Chicago, and this was it. But
you're all pointing
out that card. But then the reality of AK settled in and just kicks you in the nuts.
Yep, right there.
And we're all moving to Dallas.
Naked on the street, ready to be kicked.
Yeah. So,
good stuff.
That's it. All right, brother. Thanks for doing this and jumping in with me.
Always.
Oh, I got next. Until next week. Until Wednesday, I got next. I got a point. Casey Johnson.